Hello and welcome to Algebra 1 CST release question number 71. It says which quadratic function when graphed has x-intercepts of 4 and negative 3. In other words, it's basically saying when do these quadratic functions have these as answers or these as solutions. That would be the x-intercepts. And so where it crosses the x-axis, in other words, this one, if you're setting it equal to 0 and you solve for x, that's the x-intercepts. And so I could say that this one would be 3 if this was equal to 0. If you said 0 equals to this, you've got this being 3 because 3 minus 3 equals 0. It's that zero product property. And this one would have to be negative 4. You could think of it like this too. If you preferred to actually write it out the long way, you can set x minus 3 equal to 0 and solve for x. You can set x plus 4 equal to 0 and solve for x. Subtract 4 and you get x equals negative 4. Here add 3 and you get x equals positive 3. And so is this the right one? We have positive 3 and negative 4, but here it's saying the answers are positive 4 and negative 3, so therefore choice A not working out. This one, this would be right there for choice B. You would have negative 3 to make this factor equal to 0, and right here you would have to have, well, let's do that off to the side if you're not seeing clearly what that's going to be. You could plug in, hopefully you can see that 4 plugged in right there would work out. But if you added 8 to both sides and divided by 2, that gets you the same thing, that x equals 4. So we could think of it as x plus 3 equals 0. Again, this is the long way to think about it, but I'm just saying this one would have to be negative 3. You can mentally do that, I would hope. And again, though, you can fall back on this if you can't mentally see what would plug in here to give you 0 for these factors. So that one, negative 3, positive 4, that's exactly what I was looking for. Choice B looks like the answer. These other ones, these are a little trickier, I think. But for choice C, let's work that one out. It looks like if you plugged in 1/3 right here, if you're not seeing that, this is how you could work that out. Add 1 to both sides, just setting this factor equal to 0. This would cancel. I'd have 3x equals 1. Divide by 3, and I have x equals 1/3. So 1/3. And you could do the same sort of thing here to get negative 1/4 as possibilities. That clearly does not match up with that there. In choice D, you could do the same sort of idea. You'd have negative 1/3. I'm not doing the whole thing here, but negative 1/3 would make this factor equal to 0. And right here you could have positive 1/4 would make this part 2. 8 times 1/4 would be 2. And 2 minus 2 would equal 0. So you'd have negative 1/3 and positive 1/4. Again, not the correct solution. Number 71, the one that works out, the one that gives you the correct x-intercepts when it's graphed, would be choice B. Notice I didn't actually graph it though, because I didn't have to. But if you wanted to graph it, it would cross right there at 4 and negative 3. You could make an XY table, something like that, to make an accurate graph. But all that said, number 71, choice B.